Okay, I'm gonna do welcome to the Clutch 101 podcast. I'm gonna do power rankings today. 30 I'm gonna start with 32 through 17, and then I'll do another video with having 16 through 1. I'm gonna start from the bottom to the top. And we'll start at the bottom. We got the New York Jets. I just think that they have the least stability. They have the most injuries. They had a good draft. They had one good game in week two, but they have no depth. Seems like they're super poorly managed, and they just don't have a shot every year. 31. I got the Raiders. They're 0-3 right now, and they gave up two decent leads in a row. Derek Carr's choked a couple games out. He's always been kind of an overachiever, playing with a lot of heart, not a lot of skill. I think that Derek Carr is having a rough year, and I think this might be his last year in Las Vegas. 30, I got the Seattle Seahawks with their lone win week one against San Francisco, or not San Francisco, excuse me, Denver. Their offense has looked not that great. Their defense hasn't played great since then, and they look like they're playing for a draft pick, unfortunately. DK Metcalf's still a good receiver. I like the receiving core, but that's about all they got. Their defense, they let go of Bobby Wagner, and now they have nothing on defense. Um, Number 29, I got the Carolina Panthers. Disappointing season for Baker Mayfield. Uh, he has a time. I mean, he got his win off his back, so he could turn it around. But he's been playing pretty shaky. He's got decent receivers, a decent defense. He's got no excuses. It's time for him to do something. If he's gonna do it, he's got to do it this year. If not, his career's as a starter is looking real bleak. Number 28, I got the Washington Commanders with a great week one against the Detroit Lions. Ever since then, they've looked like the typical Washington team that we usually see every year. Um, Losing the important games big and then playing the not important games close or winning. Carson Wentz is super erratic. He's good one week, terrible the next. He's play to play. He'll have the throw of the year and then the most embarrassing play of the year two in a row. You know, their weapons are decent. Their defense is decent, but Carson Wentz is playing super erratic, so it's unpredictable. It's the great best word to describe Carson right now. Uh, 27, I got the Houston Texans. Showing a lot of fight, but no talent whatsoever. No skill positions that are very good besides Brandon Cooks, and he's a number two at best. Lovey Smith's a great coach. I'm sure he'll coach them up, and look, seems like they've been playing up to their competition at least every week, but they just have no talent. There, and it looks like they just scrapped their team the last couple years. So with moving DeAndre Hopkins, J.J. Watt, Deshaun, obviously, and their team has really fallen apart. So I think they're just in rebuild mode. But they're playing everybody good, which means they have good coaching. So their future might be a little bright. Number 26. A lot of y'all might have them a little higher, but I got the Indianapolis Colts. I know they just beat the Kansas City Chiefs, but they barely beat the Chiefs, and the Chiefs had a lot of turnovers and played like dog doo doo. Colts should have won that one by at least 10. I mean, they I'm just gonna say the Colts offense looks super shaky. I don't think Matt Ryan can lead them anywhere this year. To be honest, I just don't think they have enough on offense. All they got's Jonathan Taylor. Michael Pittman's another guy that's a good number two, but he's not a number one receiver. He really isn't. He gets good numbers every once in a while, but he doesn't jump off my screen. Okay, so then we got 25, the Arizona Cardinals. I think Kyler Murray's kind of working with nothing but AJ Green, an older AJ Green right now. Uh, Running game has been okay, but their defense has been letting up points. They made a few comebacks, and that's been strictly on Kyler's shoulders. I've been reiterating this all year. Kyler, hit that playbook like Drew Brees, like Tom Brady, like Peyton Manning. Hit that playbook like that, and you'll be one of the greatest ever. If not, you're just gonna bank all your success on your talent because it's clear that you're not reading through your progressions. You're not sitting in the pocket the way you're supposed to. I like Kyler Murray. I like the fact that he's clutch, but his QBIQ is not that high. Uh, Number 24, I got the San Francisco 49ers. I was kind of excited about Denver's D holding Jimmy Garoppolo. I thought Jimmy Garoppolo would have a decent game against them. Uh, I still see the 49ers most likely moving up on this list. They're a really good winter team, fall team, cold weather team because they're just ground and pound and play action and good defense. Garoppolo manages the games well. I think they'll bounce back, but right now I got them at 24 after losing to Denver and also losing to Chicago earlier in the year. Number 23, I got the New England Patriots. They're kind of like the Houston Texans in that they look well coached, but they have no weapons. Uh, Different running back every week. I mean, you got 10 carries going to each guy each week, 10, 15. I mean, it's no consistency in the running game. But New England's kind of been they run their runner based on what kind of defense they're playing. But no stud running back, no star receiver whatsoever. Their defense is probably top 10-ish, but their offense cannot move the ball. Like I said in a lot of my previous segments, Mac Jones is capped out after that first year. That's the most you're going to see from him is what you saw his rookie year. He was pro ready and he hasn't peaked like that since. He's been just kind of slowly declining ever since the end of last year when they got whooped by the Bills. Uh 22, I got the New York Giants. They just lost to the Dallas Cowboys last night. I probably would have had a little hotter take on the New York Giants if they would have won last night, being 3-0. But they're still 2-1. I'm not gonna put them all the way at the bottom of the list, but I think we all have eyeballs, and Daniel Jones just ain't it. Uh, he's got good skill set, I guess, but he's a good runner. That's all I really can say positively about Daniel Jones. He's inaccurate, doesn't read through his progressions correctly. He just looks like he's playing backyard football every single play. Doesn't help that he has no wide receivers either, but Saquon looks great. It looks like he's bounced back from a horrible injury. I'm glad to see that. I like Saquon. Uh, but I'm gonna have the Giants at 22 this week. I'll see how this progresses. I will expect them to drop just because I'm not a believer in Daniel Jones. 21, I got the Atlanta Falcons. They've played every one of their games close despite their record. I've discussed before that I like Desmond Ridder more than Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota will get you there and he'll put you in contention of games, but he's not going to win the game for you. He's a smart quarterback, makes the right throws, but isn't going to dare to make any deep throws or big plays, isn't mobile enough to make a huge throw on the run or a athletic play. I mean, every once in a while you'll see him dip out of the pocket and have show a little bit of speed, but I I'm not a believer in Mariota taking you far. I think why not take that chance on Ridder? He's another guy that's pro ready. He spent 4 years in college. Atlanta has weapons. They got Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Cordero Patterson. I like that offense that he has. Uh, my opinion, why not put Desmond Ridder in right now? Number 20, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers, another team that I think really needs to make a quarterback change. Trubisky is trash. I've always thought that. He's a poor man's Jake Locker, if any of y'all remember him. Uh, Kenny Pickett, not just like Ridder, played 4 years in college. He's pro ready. He wowed everybody at the combine. He has small hands, but that dude's a leader. and he looked pretty solid in the preseason. He looks like Pittsburgh would embrace him, and they're just waiting for him. You got mediocre Mitch just wasting time back there, and Steelers wasting their money on them. Number 19, I got Tennessee Titans. I probably would have them lower if they didn't win last week, but their team looks kind of inept. Their defense is inconsistent. One week they'll let 40 points up. The next week they'll look like a top 10 defense. I don't trust them. Derrick Henry has looked about 80% of his prime self. I think he's on the decline. I think they used him up, getting all those carries the past 2 or 3 years. Um, Tennessee, I think, is going to fall off, and they're going to end up putting Malik Willis in. I'm not a big Ryan Tannehill guy. I think he's a guy that you have to have a dominant offense around him in order for him to succeed. If there's anything wrong with the offense, he plays like crap. So I would never get a quarterback like that. I'd rather have a quarterback having a high upside and a low. I'd rather have a quarterback with a high ceiling and a low floor than a low ceiling and a low floor. Low ceiling, low floor quarterbacks are supposed to be backups. The ones with the high ceiling, like Malik Willis, put him in. Ryan Tannehill looks like crap. Number 18, I got Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. Uh, Lions have actually looked pretty solid this year. They don't look like their Detroit self, but they're also losing in Detroit ways. Jared Goff's playing a lot better this year. He finally found a receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I've been high on every single week. They got a great backfield. Jamal Williams had a big week last week. I'm a big fan of DeAndre Swift. Once Jameson Williams comes back, I think they'll be have a better offense. Their defense isn't like bottom of the barrel like they usually are. So Aiden Hutchinson has elevated that defense a little bit. So their defense has stepped up. I could see the Lions kind of hovering around here, maybe moving up a little bit, maybe moving a little farther down, but hovering around middle of the pack the whole year. I predict they're going to be about 500. And lastly, we got the Los Angeles Chargers. I think they're the fakest team in the NFL. Uh, they just lost to the Chiefs, which okay, but the Chiefs also just lost to the Colts. So they lost to the Chiefs, and then they just got smoked by the Jaguars at home. Worst fan base in the league when it comes to crowd noise and showing up for games. Because in LA, you're gonna have all fan bases show up because it's such a heavily populated city. No one's really from there, so you have fans from all over in that city. It's the worst sports city unless you're a Laker. Um, Justin Herbert is all talent, no guts, no clutchness. I he's great arm, can throw on the run. He's super fast, tough, tall, has all the great attributes like a Madden. Well, if you were to pick a player on Madden to like just create, it would be Justin Herbert. But he can't win the games, and he's on the Chargers. He's gonna have a career like Philip Rivers. I'm telling you, he doesn't play like Philip Rivers at all, but he's gonna have a very similar career with like when it comes to winning percentage and numbers. He's gonna have a very similar career. Watch.